Greetings and welcome to Creative Briefing. We've been away, but we're back refreshed and energized and reinvigorated and more creative than ever, if there could be such a thing. So today it's a hot and steamy day in California. Hopefully it doesn't get too stuffy in my little office, my little studio here. If you see me starting to shine, you'll know that I've got the AC turned off because obviously it interferes with the audio. I done a couple last time, a week or so ago, with the AC on, and it really doesn't sound that great. So hopefully the audio today is a little better, because today's all about audio. It's Friday, we're playing with music. I have a guitar and I have my Arturia key step in front of me here, which is off camera. You won't see that. There's only so many cameras I can fit here and stream at one time, but I have just a little sequence pre-programmed on the key step, and that's just going to play a little backing track, because I want to demonstrate today. I've demonstrated Kontakt before, Native Instruments Kontakt, the free Kontakt player that has a number of it's a broad selection of instruments. Today I've got a couple of analog style synths that they're obviously digital recreations, digital models of that style of synth, the few very basic sound controls that we'll look into. And I've got my 1986 Fender Strat that is going into Amplitube, which I've also demonstrated a number of times, and I've got both of those going into Soundflower. If you're not familiar with Soundflower, I'm not gonna demonstrate that on screen today, but that allows you to sort of feed audio signals from one desktop application into another, or from the numerous desktop applications to your master output, which is the case here. And in this case I've got the audio signal going from Amplitube into a channel on Soundflower, and an audio signal from Kontakt going into Soundflower, and then all that is going into my streaming software, and then that obviously goes out to the world, and also a feed goes to my monitors so I can hear what I'm playing. That reminds me, I forgot to grab my headphones, so we're going to get a little bit of bounce back on the microphone here. Hopefully that isn't going to be too bad. It hasn't been too bad in the past, but maybe I'll just shut off the microphone while I'm playing, so we don't get any sort of feedback of that nature. So I'm not going to demonstrate Soundflower. I will maybe I'll do a brief episode, a little tip or something on that in the future. But it's free software, just plugs into it's Mac only. I'm sure there are Windows-based things do a similar sort of thing. So I've tested this and recorded it, and it sounds okay. Hopefully it all works perfectly for the stream, so that we get a good balance of the guitar and the synths. And obviously my mic when I'm sort of discussing what we're building. So enough waffle, let's get on with there is some nasty lag on the streaming software. So first of all, let's take a look at Kontakt. I've already set up a sound, and I think I'll delete all this and sound in there, and I've got a pad sound in there, so we get some nice soft mids to sort of fill out that sound and make it sort of flow, make it a bit more soft and gentle. And also there's a bass to fill out the low ends there, and my guitar will obviously be sort of playing over that. So let's take a quick look at delete these, and let's go into a factory selection, which again, it's a rather large but free download, as I've said before. And in the synth presets, I'm going to use the monster bass. I'm just going to double click that, and it loads it into the multi. And I'm going to make sure that the output is going to the stereo output, yes, and I'm going to check that in MIDI it's on port A, MIDI channel 1, which is what the is set to, the Arturia key step is set to transmit on. You can see in blue down on the keyboard at the bottom there, you can see the available keys that this instrument is set to recognize. If I play outside of that range, you can see the keys are being depressed on the sort of GUI at the bottom. No sound is coming out. So I'm going to play the sequence and mess with the sound a little bit. Down a little bit so it isn't clipping. So that's the bass sound. I'm not going to mess around with it any more than that. There are some other options that I'm really not going to mess with too much in this. This is more about sort of performance and mixing the sounds together rather than sort of sound design. So I'm just going to use, not going to fiddle with that more than just want the sound to be less bright, so which is this sort of part A has a lot more brightness and a lot more sort of noise and grit in it. I want to reduce that and bring up, like, which sounds like a sine wave. It's a bit more of a pure wave, and just a bit softer to give it a bit of a meaty bass sound. So I'm going to click on that, and that will reduce that. And now I can let's find pad. Let's try one of these pads and see what that sounds like. And I'm gonna mute. You can see that the bass is muted. Now I can just hear what. Oh, and of course, first thing I've got to check is MIDI channel 1 on port A. That's a bit too soft, so I'm gonna delete that and try the next one. I think Crystal was the one I'd used. Again, let's set the MIDI channel. That's quite nice, so I'm going to play the sequence and then modify the sound a little bit. I'm going to set the chords to fourth just to give it a bit more, you know, I don't want it to be everything to be on the root note. Obviously the sequence is playing one note, like a one note bass line. So I want to fill that out with a little bit more. So I'm going to use a fourth. It's just going to add a different sort of flavor. You know, I'm going between major and minor, so I can't stick to major thirds or minor thirds. It won't sound right. Obviously the system isn't smart enough to know when to switch from major to minor, so I'm just gonna, I could leave it on the octave and fill it out a little bit, but I'm gonna switch to fourths. Volume's a bit loud, let's bring the volume down a tad. Mess with the envelope a little bit so that so that's that basic sound on the and if I bring the so there you can see we have bass and a synth filling out, and it's already sort of quite nice. It's a very, very basic sequence, but that's already quite nice. So I'm gonna stop that real quick and just flip over to Amplitube just to show the setup I've got here. We'll start with the amp. It's just the orange AD30, it's sort of basic settings, and I've demonstrated the orange collection before. Let's turn off the effects real quick just so you can get an idea of the amp, and we'll bypass these. So, clean, on the verge of breakup. It's got a nice, I'm on the bridge pickup, so it's got quite a nice bright sound. And first thing, I'm adding compressor just to even out my picking. Got a big muff. Very noisy, very loud, but it's great fun to make noise with. Adding a chorus, so I just love that 80s chorus sound. I'm adding a little bit of delay with the blend is turned quite a ways down, but I'm going to turn it down just a little bit more. So I've also, I should say, I've got a noise gate on, because the big muff is it's very noisy, and it just noise gate will kick in and cut out a lot of that noise. If I turn the threshold down on the noise gate, it'll just constantly be. So this will tell you that getting a noise gate in your signal chain on your pedal board might be a good idea. Invest in a good high quality one, because when you got dirt pedals, grunge pedals, especially with, you know, noisy modulation pedals like flange or chorus sort of after them, really can be quite brutal. So you can get the best of both worlds. Nice dirty grungy sound, but then, you know, it quietens up when you need it to. So in the rack I have a digital reverb, again turned down quite low, but just to add a bit of so that big muff and the orange amp really work well to give you really good screaming. Lovely, lovely. Anyway, that's besides the point. I've also got another compressor at the end of the chain just to sort of tighten everything up a little bit. Just a little bit, just a dash. So, not really gonna mess around with the settings anymore on this. The sound is sort of dialed in. I'm just gonna leave it at that. That was just a quick demonstration. So let's go back to Kontakt, and I closed the factory selection. Maybe we can add in, you can download a demo of one of these drum tools too, and let's go through some of these just to give us a bit of a, let's take a look at these grooves and see what we can find real quick. Just find something just to give us a bit of a click track more than anything. Let's try disco. Okay, that'll do. I'm not going to mess with the sound. This is less to do with drum. Let's okay, that'll do. I'm not going to mess with that any more than. Let's just close that down. So I'm going to shut off the mic and I'm just going to play through. Just play through a little bit to demonstrate the different sounds and the different layers you can get by using. Basically, Kontakt is a multi-timbral synth, so I can get the bass and the synth sounds and a drum kit going here, and then I can layer some guitar on top of it, which is really incredibly fun because now it's more like I'm jamming just to like a backing track, and with a hardware sequencer, or even I could feed a software sequencer through to Kontakt. I have a great deal of control over what I'm playing over sort of canned loops or anything like that. nice. Hopefully the mix sounds quite right here. I'm hoping that the mix comes across well balanced over the stream. That the tone of the guitar and the volume of the guitar really complements the bass and the synths here. So let's go back to this and play out. There's not a lot really to see there. I mean, that was just a brief demonstration, but I used a combination of the bridge and the neck pickups, played some smooth mellow tones, some like bright, more shrill tones. Obviously I could have messed with the amp setup a little bit more, but I think you get the idea that layering sounds, again, I talked about this when I did the K-oscillator demonstration, but this little micro setup on the desktop, again, it's not so micro because I've got a hardware keyboard with a sequencer built in. I've got, you know, a guitar, so you know the setup's slightly more expansive, but still it's not a massive studio setup, and I can still get that variety of tones. I can play to a backing track that I'm largely controlling. I'm not, you know, I could again get into a sequencer and start programming some more complex sequences with that modify the sound values over time. You know, you can get into, if we go into you know, all of these knobs can then be I could program those to do those sorts of changes over time. So lots of fun. You could even set up a MIDI controller in front of you and tweak those knobs in between, going back to the, you know, the guitar parts. You could do a verse chorus bit, maybe where the guitar comes in on the chorus if you're just sort of jamming to a song, or you're writing, or whatever the situation. You know, you could expand upon this and really get to control a lot of things at once. Anyway. That's it for today. Nice and brief for creative briefing, and some nice Friday fun. Oh, I'm back down to 10 frames a second. I've been trying to improve the video quality of the stream, maybe because I've got two virtual synths running, or two virtual synth programs running at the same time. It's maybe struggling to keep up, but definitely trying to improve the streaming quality. I've noticed there's been some either audio issues due to having the air conditioning on, or just having the mic turned off and I haven't realized, or the video quality can be pretty choppy at times. Just seems to be random. I've been looking into that, so hopefully it's coming across an acceptable fashion. Always experimenting here, trying to improve the quality of the streams. Obviously I don't want to get poor quality in the way of me inspiring and motivating you to go and be creative. It's the weekend, pick up an instrument, download some software if you haven't already, and play along and create something. Be creative. Thanks for watching, thanks for sticking with us, and I will see you on the next creative briefing. Have a good one. Cheers.